There's a few things in today's video from all the announcements lately that I haven't seen anyone talk about, and also a bunch of new stuff. So let's get started. The first story has some leaks on the new jungler, so if you don't like that kind of thing, you can skip past it in the video timeline below. So, via Big Bad Bear is that gameplay footage of the new vampire jungler Briar has been leaked. I've got it playing in the background here. From a sequential order, it looks like we obviously have idle and recall animations, followed by what appears to be her Q, which is that little dash with a small root. It's also noted that this ability breaks armor. She also appears to have a HP cost on abilities, the same as Vlad does, followed by a heal as it says in her passive. It also looks like the range is actually pretty far too. Next is her W, which is where she breaks the pillory and gains movement speed, but as I said in my last video, it also looks like she loses control and berserks towards the nearest unit, which can also be jungle camps. Next is her no boots and boots 2 animation, and the video finishes with her E, which is the scream that damages and slows enemies while allowing her to take reduced damage. Her ult, and I don't believe her W2 was shown, but it's good to get a representation of what her abilities and animations look like. She doesn't look overly crazy off the bat. Obviously her ult wasn't shown, which was something I was keen to see, but with all the leaks and teasers this week, I'm not sure she's that far off. She does look pretty accessible, like Naafiri, in a sense that she can be easily picked up and succeeded with, which Riot has done a good job of lately, not making too many crazy champions. Moving on, there's been a ton of updated ability icons shown for champions added to the PBE. I've made a complete chart of these in the background, which actually took fucking ages, but included in this list are Blitzcrank, Graves, Janna, Jarvan, Jace, Lee Sin, Leona, Malphite, Nami, Olaf, Orianna, Varus, Vayne, and Zed. One thing worth noting as well is a few champions had icons added for second parts of their abilities, like ZW2 and R2, which is good for clarity. Sadly, we are missing Riven, who I think really needs them, but there was also word of Jax getting his audio and visual update in mid-September, slated to be either in the PBE cycles of the 12th or 26th of September. Also, close to those date ranges is the return of the Blue Essence Emporium from September 6th to the 20th. Playing in the background is a video from Squoopo showing some of those chromas you'll be able to buy with your Blue Essence. If you want to see all that'll be on offer, their video will be in the description. Now, something that was actually announced in the recent preseason and rank changes video that Riot made that I've seen no one talk about is the fact that Pew mentioned that actual changes to Summoner's Rift map will be happening next season.
In terms of what's in preseason, we have a lot of changes that we're working on. We're looking at terrain adjustments to parts of Summoner's Rift, changes to map objectives, and significant modifications to the item system, some of which I'd love to share with you today.
So while this was said as part of a fleeting comment, there's been a ton of speculation about what that could entail, because outside of the Elemental Drake changes, we haven't seen anything since the addition of the top and bot lane alcos, which, to be fair, were pretty underwhelming. A point I want to mention here is that lately it feels like all the new content Riot's making is being catered towards making the game more accessible or forgiving for newer players. Ways Riot has shown this is through easier champion kits to pick up and manage, such as Milio, Naafiri, and Briar, updating the bots to give beginner players a more smooth transition into the actual game, and the durability update, making mistakes more forgiving, even though that's basically been reverted and everyone is getting one shot again anyway. The point I make with this is I feel like maybe they'll alter the map to make unfavorable lane states more forgiving. Oftentimes, in bot and top lane, if the lane is frozen and you're already behind, the game is just over for you without a jungler's help, so maybe altering the lanes in a way that you can't be zoned as easily or safer routes in and out of the lanes might be on the cards. I don't really know if I would or wouldn't like this, but making the game more playable when behind can't really be a bad thing when it comes to overall player satisfaction, which is what Riot's always trying to fix. Another theory was that maybe they'll finally address the height differences in and out of the river, which often leads to abilities connecting visually but missing on a coding level, which can often lead to frustration. Other ones included more access to Dragon or Baron Pit to level out blue or red side advantages and more gank paths into lanes. Although my favorite suggestion was from Reddit user I Love Western Blot, who said it'll be a wall that seals off top lane for the first 10 minutes of the game. No more level 2 ganks from a red buff Nidalee while I'm just trying to last hit my minions. Either way, all of these speculative comments actually sound like real things that Riot could look into, and I'd be excited to see what they come up with. If you have any suggestions yourself for these changes, leave a comment below. I'd be interested to have a read of what you guys think. And while you're scrolling down there to comment, be sure to hit the subscribe button on your way down. It really helps the channel out.
Maybe I should actually subscribe to these guys, since I actually care for seeing their videos every day.
The next topic worth addressing, because I get messages about this literally every single day, is that Riot Iskar said on Reddit that they're finally looking into the negative LP states that have been affecting a lot of players. In this comment here, he says they're doing an active investigation on how to prevent this without introducing significant inflation to the system. Some other things Riot has commented on Reddit looking into next season were Yasuna talking about addressing crit items as they're in a quote odd spot, and mage items for a quote fun new build paths for all varieties of mages. And the most interesting two comments I could find was from Reeve, who hinted at them changing Baron Nashor. Obviously, this comment on screen is kind of vague, but Riot and writers have been known to comment or word things like this in the past as small teasers for things to come. This is definitely one that I think would change the game up. And his second one was in reference to the new champion after Briar, which is meant to be a quote artistic mage. In the next month or so, there should be another champion roadmap touching on Skarner and also revealing more details on this new champion. And next up is the PBE received an entirely new skin line today, which I have to say looks actually pretty sick, and I really like the direction with this one. The Street Demon skins involving Rengar, Brand, Nico, Mundo, and Zyra. These are playing in the background along with their respective splash arts, which I also think look really sick. And lastly for today is LCS personality Gabby Durden, formerly known as Latigris, has announced that she won't be returning to the LCS. I don't really think she was ever able to recover from the drama she faced earlier this year, or I guess the community just wouldn't leave her alone about it. I covered this previously in a video when it happened. If you want to learn more about it, it'll be in the description. Pretty unfortunate because even though she was the deliverer of the drama piece that she got in trouble for, she wasn't the one who wrote it or authorized it, so she just took the heat for something that the entire LCS production team should have. Anyway, that'll do us for today. Again, if you enjoy my content, be sure to subscribe and I can't wait to see you guys in the next one. Bye!